So I have one more question for you, Miracle, and I'm going to come to you, Treble. Because I think one of the issues that Black people a lot of times have with solidarity is the anti-Blackness that exists. It's so much anti-Blackness that exists in the Arab world, all throughout the Arab world. You know what I'm saying? Farouk shared a video where somebody was talking about even like how, like you said, like Black Palestinians are discriminated against by other Palestinians. And I say that to say, I remember when I did solidarity work with the Mexican community, and a lot of the critiques that I got personally was, why are you showing the solidarity to the Mexican community or the Latinx community, if you want to talk about it as a whole? Because there's so much anti-Blackness that exists in the Latinx community, right? Including the lighter skins discriminating against the darker skin. And we've talked about that on the show as well. Should the rampant anti-Blackness that exists in these communities be a reason for Black people to hold back their solidarity?
No, I think it's a reason for you to navigate what your safety is and advocating for a community you're not part of. Whether it's anti-Blackness, homophobia, transphobia, you have to figure out how safe it is for you to advocate and what your political leanings are. I look at the world as being corrupted and destroyed by white supremacy. And white supremacy, particularly from Western imperialists, is based on race and ethnicity. So you understand that people are going to treat darker skinned people all across the globe the worst, because that is what Western powers do. And you feel like, if I'm trying to be like the US, if I'm trying to be like Britain, I'm going to be racist. And so a lot of these countries have internalized anti-Blackness because they were also colonized.
Sure.
And so that is the reality of what we're living in, is the children and grandchildren of these people who really destroyed our globe are now holding up white supremacy because they feel that's how it's going to keep them safe.
Including Black people in America, right?
Well, I mean, yes, because we saw the lady at the UN. She was a Black woman who raised her hand and who was like, "We don't want a ceasefire." It is a gay, queer, lesbian, Haitian woman who acts as the press secretary for the Biden administration, who is out here calling people repugnant and anti-Semitic for saying that they want peace. So it is a huge problem all across the globe. But yeah, it is difficult when you want to go and advocate for a wrong and you have to worry about, is somebody going to say that they don't want you here, right? Is somebody going to call you out your name or disrespect you? But I'll say, when I was organizing for Black Lives Matter, I would have pastors come and say that I wasn't able to organize because I was a woman, right?
Right, yeah.
And so no matter where we go, there is some bigotry that's going to impact us. But for me, it's like, what is your worldview? What is your plan? What are you fighting for? And in fighting, how can you organize people so they can divest from white supremacy and get rid of this hate and the fear that they have of the other? So like, even right now, we're having these conversations about what does it mean to be a queer organizer advocating for Palestine, and people are now having these conversations. Imams are being forced to have these conversations. Yeah. And so sometimes through solidarity, you're able to build bridges to divorce from that bigotry that makes you feel unsafe.
Wow, that's powerful. Treble?
So I want to reference what Sada Shakur said about fighting for liberation, which is, it's not an emotional battle, it's a scientific one. So when we operate from a place of hurt, like, oh, you didn't stand for me, so I'm not going to stand for you, I feel like it's a divisive tactic, not from us, but it kind of benefits the similar oppressor that we have when we look at someone who doesn't identify the way that we do. So I feel like when we're talking about solidarity and who we should, have solidarity for, I don't think it should be a conversation of like, oh, well, I'm going to stand with them because they stood with us. Right. I feel like if we are going to stand against oppression, then we have to stand against it in all forms, while also taking into account how safe it is to fight against certain forms of oppression for you as an individual. But it should never come up to like, oh, they were quiet when this happened, they were quiet when that happened. Because then we have to think about the fact that like, there are some people who have internalized their oppression.
1,000%.
When we see that internalization of oppression, it's not personal. It's not they hate us, but rather they're doing the best they can within a system that taught them that if they identify as who they truly are, then they get cast aside as well versus joining the winning side of the battle.
True.
You know what I'm saying?